good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is you are watching this video, you handsome lot. Anyway, I got a little 2017 Audi A1. It's done 46,000 miles. I tell you what, I do like this car. Nice little sporty hot hatch looking kind of thing. But yeah, I do like it. Now this little car is a 1.4 TFSI. I'm no good with numbers. Absolutely no good with numbers. It is a 1.4 TFSI, 150 horsepower, CZEA. And we are going to be replacing the timing belt, and we're using all genuine parts from Chester TPS. And a brand new water pump as well. Monstrous water pump. As you can see, I've now got the vehicle up in the air. We've got the driver's side front wheel off, engine support on. I'm just draining the coolant out of the vehicle. Obviously, I have had to remove the under tray. This is a horrible, well, I wouldn't say horrible, it's just a lot of fiddly plastic. Don't like plastic trays. They make the job long. But anyway, while that's draining out now, I'm going to drop the vehicle down to about working height. We can go ahead and just get this inner wheel arch off, or at least pull it back. I've decided to go ahead and remove the full inner wheel arch rather than just pull it back, and I'm kind of glad I did, because up here was full to the brim of mud. Minging. Anyway, let's plod on. Now let's go ahead and attack and get everything removed out of the way so we can get some timing tools in place so we can get this engine timed up. Airbox, this intake pipe, there's various little bits and bobs because we do need to get to that plastic cover by there. Remove that, and then there's also something else that we've got to remove so we can mount the tool to. Well, I have made a little bit of room for myself. I've got the timing cover off, the coolant tank out of the way, all the gubbins this side of the engine. We have got a nice little pile of parts gathering up. Right, now we've got everything exposed, we do need to go underneath. We've got a tool to go in here which holds the camshaft and then locks the water pump. But then holds this exhaust camshaft. We need to go up and lock the crank. Now, if you've never done these before, where you lock the crank is just behind the drive shaft. And you take that little bung out by there. Now, it does look like a sun plug. Take that out. Now, where have we gone? Now we can insert that tool through the hole and that will lock the crank. Now, once I've put that pin in, which is just around the back there, make sure it's tight. Whenever you're using timing tools, they need to be screwed in or bolted up. Make sure that they are always tight. Don't just put them in finger tight because sometimes they can turn and fall out. Now it is locked, that crank isn't going anywhere. You can drop it down now and lock the camshafts up. But we can be 180 degrees out. So we might have to just pull this back off again. Everything at the top is now locked off. We're going to mark everything. We like to mark everything a little bit of reference for ourselves. We're going to counter hold the crank pulley and we're going to undo the bolt. Now, these are fairly tight. Crank pulley removed, lower timing cover removed. I don't like creaky voice today. A couple of bolts for the engine mount. We just have to remove the alternator and just tilt it back a little bit and go ahead and get that cover off. Now, there's probably a lot of you saying, oh, you don't need to do that, you can just fiddle it past it. No, we're taking it off. We're taking it off and get it out of the way. Right, well, with a little bit of up and down movage of the engine, we've now got the engine mount out of the way, and it does come out through the bottom, to the top, it's a right fiddle. I've removed the tensioner, the roller, and also the belt. And everything's still in line. Marks haven't moved, which is a good thing. So we go ahead and get these new bits. Get them fitted. We're going to be using all data for a wee technical information and make sure that everything is done correctly. When my laptop wakes up, I'm sure it's still in weekend mode. Now, with a little bit of magic, we've gone ahead and we've got the new timing belt on. Always make sure that the writing is in the middle of the camshaft pulleys because it might balance and wobble and fall off. I'm joking. That's just a little bit of personal preference when I'm building them back up. Right, on my marks, lined up, nothing slipped. I'm happy with. We can go ahead now and grab another tool. And this for the tension. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see it down the back there. I'm going to put my camera down. You might not be able to see it as we're putting tension on the belt. You can't see the pointer. Might be able to see the pointer. Tell you what, this is hard. This is filming, tensioning the belt up. You see it coming at the back, and that has got to line up perfectly in the little grooves. Now we can go ahead and get that bolt torqued up to 25 newton meters. We are making a little bit more progress. Got the crankshaft pulley back on, and everything's timed up as it should be. Crankshaft bolts is 150 newton meters and then 180 degrees. That's why I put. Stay there. That's why I put that red mark on it. So once I've done 150 mark, 12 o'clock, turn it around. 180 degrees. Right. Let's drop it down, remove all the tools from the top while I've got to put the engine mount on as well. Now I've removed the timing tools out of the camshafts, and what we're going to do, jump on the crank pulley, the crank bolt. I'm going to spin the engine over and make sure all our timing marks are lining up. I haven't got any tight spots or there's nothing locking up. And everything's turning over as it should be. Camshafts lined up. That side's bang on, and also crankshaft is bang on. Let's go ahead and put all the engine mount, timing cover, and we can leave all this off because we are going down this area to replace the pump of water. Let's concentrate now on this water pump side of things. Now I have gone ahead and removed all the coolant hoses off the water pump because it is quite a fair old contraption. Now we just need to remove all the T30s from around it, and that should just slide out. Pump of water is now removed. Now normally they leak just down the bottom corner here, you can see a little bit of staining, but this one is in relatively good condition. It's going to be, it's done 41,000 miles, but it is on age, and the customer wants it done as a prevention, and we do like preventative work. Right, I'm going to go ahead now, get this new little belt on, get the new water pump on. What we're going to do is just put a little bit of red rubber grease around this seal, put all the bolts in, nip them up, and then what we need to do then, put an Allen key in there, torque wrench, put 30 newton meters on it, and then nip the bolts up. No, nip them up, and then slacken them off just a little bit. Get your torque wrench, 30 newton meters, put a bit of twist in it to put tension on the belt, and then torque them up. So I think it's about 12 newton meters. Red rubber grease is now applied to that. The reason why I've put it on there is when we're putting a bit of tension on it, it's not gripping against the cylinder head, and it can slide then, can't it? We have also got 5 new bolts for him. Do you know, I do like these Volkswagen stuff, because Volkswagen, Audi, VAG group, got these little holes, and all the little bolts fit in them nicely. Let's get this water pump on. Right, well I've had my dinner, water pump is on, new belt is on, and everything is torqued up perfectly. I'm sorry this video isn't really in depth as what it normally is, but I've just got that much going on here. It's trying to do this and that, and it's hard work. But anyway, everything now looking brand new. All we've got to do is get all these pipes and all this gubbins and that put back together. So I'm going to chuck it into a little bit of a time lapse. Right, let's get back involved, and we're going to get all this put back together. Pipe on here, clip on there, give everything a wiggle on. Everything just goes back together pretty smoothly, to be honest. Nothing dramatic. A little pipe going there, clamp there, another something there. But yeah, we're getting there. Here we go, we've got a bit of a side angle going on. We can see that intake boost pipe thing, 2 T30s screwing in there. That intake pipe clipping, everything just clips in there. You've got to be careful because it can not go in correctly and give you boost faults. That now is everything back together. Well, as you've just seen, everything is now back together and we need to fill the coolant system. Now on these, it can be a bit of a nightmare. Coolant vacuum kit every time. Oh, can I do this one-handed? Right, flick that switch over, make sure that bottom one's locked off and it'll pull a vacuum. Pretty much like that. And then we can lock it off a little bit like that. I'll leave that now for 5 minutes and that's going to check for any leaks or so. While I go and get some fresh coolant to put in it. I tell you what, you know these like modern day cars, they can be an absolute nightmare to bleed because they've all got special procedures. But that kit there has been an absolute game changer. I've used it for quite a few years now and I never have any issues with overheating or air in the system after. And we are following manufacturer's filling and bleeding procedure. Now I've got my coolant there. And that gauge has been there for now, focus, for about 5 minutes or so. So we're going to get the hoses connected up and get it filled. Now one thing I do find with this, you've got to like siphon the coolant through. So this pipe isn't full of air, so you're not introducing air back into the system. But once that is all coupled up, we can flick that switch and that will now start filling that perfectly. Done. Everything is now done. Coolant is on the maximum. I think we can go ahead now and get on the key and give it a big start. Got two choices. It either does or it doesn't. Well, it's running. We've got no warning lights. We can sort that out. Let me turn these fans down. What I'm going to do is leave it running, monitor the engine coolant temperature while I'm pulling it on all wheel arches and belly pans and stuff like that back together. Right, I'm going to have to do this quickly. 90 degrees on the clocks. And if we come round to the diag tool, we've got coolant temperature at the engine, coolant temperature at radiator outlet. Thermostat is opening, water circulating. If you raise the revs up, you can see that coolant raising beautifully. So we know that coolant system now is working as it should be. It's flying up, pumping. That water pump is doing water pump things and pumping water. And there we have it. Job was a good one. Everything's nice and clean. Coolant is pretty much where it needs to be. I'm happy with everything. Everything's gone smooth sailing, which is a first, and it's nice for a Monday. You go around to that, the fans will be kicking in any second now. 97 degrees on the coolant, and 95 degrees on the radiator outlet. I'm happy. I'm going to take it down the road for a little bit of a test drive. It's sounding like a little singer sewing machine. I quite enjoy doing these, quite nice to do. Anyway, if you've made it this far in the video, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and I will definitely see you on the next video. Take it easy, let's get it sent.